My dear students, welcome back. Now we are going to continue with the ledger, and probably this is the last class, theoretical last class of the ledger. And in this class, we are going to see the engineering applications of the ledger, and particularly here we have the two applications. So one by one, we are going to deal with both the applications. So first application is how we are going to write the data on a CD. So data storage on the compressed CD. So before I go how to record the data on the CD, first let us see briefly about the structure of the CD. What is the structure of the CD? So CD will have the three parts. So let us suppose this is your CD. So CD will have the three layers. This is, let us suppose, the outermost layer. This outermost layer will be again the plastic. In between there is another one layer that will be of a metal, and the outermost again there will be a plastic. Again there will be outermost layer, and it will be the plastic. So what I am saying, the metal has been sandwiched between the two plastic layers, and that constitutes your CD. The typical diameter of this is nearly 12 centimeter or 4.5 inch. So this is what I am saying. It is made of the three layers. The most of the CD is made of the tough brittle plastic called the polycarbonate. Sandwich in the middle there is a thin layer of aluminium. So this is what I have explained you. In between we have the aluminium, and then one layer is of your another plastic. So we are calling as protective layer. So protective layer is of the plastic and lacquers, right? So it has got the three layers. The first thing that we notice about the CD is that it is shiny on one side and dull on the other side. The dull side usually has a label on it telling what is on the CD. So shining part that we'll see in the detail is used for the reflection of the light and the scattering of the light, and the dull part, on that we are putting some stickers which give us the details about the containing of the CD. So this is your brief structure of your CD. So now let us go back and see the further one, the recording on the compressed disk. So how we are going to record this. So before we are going to record, we have to do the sampling of the CD. So what is the sampling? CD record store data as a bumps on the surface of the plastic. That I am going to take up in more detail. So briefly I am telling you over here. You will have a plastic, right? And there we are going to put a light beams, and because of that light beams or the laser beam we are saying, there will be a bump. It is going to burn, and after burn there will be a bump. And then in between you will not have wherever light has not fallen, there will be no bump. Then again there will be a bump. Wherever the light is falling on this, you will be getting a bump, right? So this is what I am writing here. In a CD, data or other information is stored digitally as a long string of the here the CD records store data as a bump on the surface of the plastic. In CD, data or other information is stored digitally, right? So what is required to be done? That is, whatever information you have there, that information is firstly to be converted digitally, and that also in the binary numbers, right? So what is the binary number? If you are going to convert your data in 010101 or the sequence of the 01, that we call as a binary conversions. So what we are going to do, informations to be encoded is converted into the numbers by the process of sampling. So the process by which you are converting the data or the information into the binary numbers is called sampling. A piece of electronic equipment measures the data and turns a measurement into a number and store it in a binary format. So the information that you are going to provide to be stored inside the CD, there we put a electronic equipment, and that electronic equipment is going to convert your data into the binary format, and that is being sent on the CD for recording, right? The sampling process turned CD track lasting several minutes into a string of the millions of the zeros and ones. So the moment you are going to convert this into the binary numbers, you are getting 0 and 1s, and of course it will in the order of millions. This information is stored on CD. So what is called the sampling. right? That is the conversion of your information or the data in the binary format is called sampling. So first we have to finish the sampling. Now we are coming how to record it. Now here you see, this is what we have taken. Here we have the 3 layers. So this is the topmost layer that you are seeing. This is this is the dull phase, and on which you are putting the levels, right? Then you have the protective polycarbonate. So here you will have the protective polycarbonate, and here you have a plastic, right? This is a plastic on which we are going to encode the data, right? So this is your basic structure. So what we are going to do, on this plastic, if you are going to put the laser beam, right, then some part of this is going to burn. So moment it is going to burn, so there you will be getting a bump. So here let us suppose it has got burned. So moment it is, this plastic is getting burned, here you will be getting a bump. So wherever it has got the bump, there it does mean it has got burned by the laser beam. So laser beam has been used to burn the particular part of the lasers. So let us see, particular part of the plastic, right? So let us see in the detail. CD are made of the original master. So first of all, we are going to make one master, and from the master the others are being copied. So here we are going to deal with how the master is being recorded. The master is burned with a laser beam that itches bumps, right? So that is going to itch the bumps, and that bump is called pits on the surface. So this bump that you are seeing over here, this bump will call as pits, right? A bump represents number 0. So wherever you are getting bumps or the land, whatever you use, or the pits, bump or the pits, that is going to represent the number 0. That we should remember. So wherever it has been burned by this, it is going to represent the number 0. So this is going to represent 0. And in between the plane surface that you are getting, that is called land. So the plane surface in between is called land, and land is going to represent as 1. So that is called the land, and it is going to be represented by number 1. So in this way, the information has been converted on the plastic surface into 0101 like this. Thus the laser can store all the information sample from the original track of data by burning some areas to represent 0 and leaving other area that is unburned to represent ones. So burnt area is going to be represented by 0 and unburnt area is to be represented by 1, and this is how we are going to record the data on the CD. Right. The disk holds the information in the tight continuous spiral of about 3 to 5 million bits. So in this way, nearly one CD, 3 to 5 million bits we are recording in the spiral way that all of you must be knowing. It would unwrap the spiral and lay. Okay, if you would unwrap the spiral and lay it in the straight line, it will go to the distance of nearly about 6 kilometers. So that will be the length of the plastic inside that spiral track of the CD. So this is the mechanism of the recording the data. Now we are going to see the next one, that is how we can retrieve the data which has been recorded. So that is, we require to play the CD, and the moment we are going to play the CD, we are going to retrieve the data. Now you see what we are going to do there. Now when you see the your CD, you find you have a very shiny layers. So the bottommost layer is very shiny. So this is your shiny layers. This is your shiny layers that you can see on this. On this shiny layers, from here, this is your laser, and from the laser you are putting the light inside this. So whenever you may be playing the CD in your computer, there you must have observed that one LED light is glowing on the CD, right? So there you should see it carefully. All right. So from there, what is happening? A light is falling on your CD, and that light is getting reflected, scattered of course in all the directions, and that scattered light is falling on your photodiodes, and this photodiode is going to receive the light from the laser, and then it is going to your electronic device, right? And that electronic device will convert this into the 0101 the way it has been recorded. Now how it happens? Now we have already seen that on the CD we have the pits and land, right? On the CD we have the pits and we have the land. Where is the pits? Pits is the burned part, right? And land is the unburned part. Pits is the burned part and land is the unburned part, and that is a plain part. Naturally, whenever the laser beam is going to fall on the plain part, that is unburned part, the light will be getting scattered, and that light will be recorded by your photodiode, and photodiode will send that light to the electronic device, and electronic device will say, I have received the information 1, right? Because unburned part is going to represent the information 1. Whenever no information is coming, the electronic device will record this as 0, because from the unburned part light is not going to be scattered. So this is how we are going to decipher or retrieve the data from your CD. So let us see this. Inside CD layer there is a miniature laser beam called a semiconductor diode laser. This is what I have shown you in the figure. So this is your semiconductor diode laser and a small photoelectric cell. So here we have a photoelectric cell, or we also call light detectors, electronic light detector or photodiodes. When we pass or press play, and electric motors make the disc to rotate at high speed. So naturally this disc will start rotating at a very high speed, and the laser beam first will fall here, and then the laser beam will be slowly coming towards the outer part of this, and the CD will also becoming slowing down. So initially its speed will be very fast, and as you are moving away from the center, its speed will become slower to match the speed of the retrieving of the data. All right. The laser beam switches on the scan along the track with a photocell from the center of the CD to the outside, right? So this is what I have explained you. Now the laser flashes onto the shiny side of the CD and bounces of the pattern of pits. So wherever you are getting the pits or bump and lands, that is flat area on the disc. All right. So this is what is happening. The laser flashes up on the entire part. That is, it is going to flash up on the full of your CD. On the full of the CD, light is falling, right? This is what we have written here. So on the entire CD, light is falling and light is bouncing. So on the CD, what you have? You have the bumps or the pits and the flat surface. The land reflect the light straight back. So land, which is your unburned part, right, is going to reflect the light while the pits scatter the light. So one is going to reflect the light and other is going to scatter the light. All right. So then what is happening? Every time light reflect back, photocell detects it, realize it is a land, and send a burst of the electronic current to the electronic circuit that generates the number 1. So then what is happening? The reflected light, as I have shown you in the previous diagram, will be coming to your photocell, and the photocell is will be detecting this, and it will be sending that signal in form of the current to your electronic device, and electronic device will detect this, that it has received some information in form of 1. When light fails to reflect back, because wherever it is your burned part, from there it is not getting reflected, the photocell realizes that there is a land there and doesn't register anything, right? So no information is coming from that surface. So the electronic circuit generates the number 0, right? Thus the scanning laser and electronic circuit gradually recreates the pattern of 0 and 1 by the binding digits, and that are originally stored on the disk. So what is happening? Therefore what we can say, from the CD, 0 and 1 is coming in form of the electronic signal, and that your electronic instrument is detecting 0, 1 in a sequence as it has been recorded. All right. So this is how we are going to retrieve the data from your CD. Now we are coming to the next one is your DVD. So this is your digital versatile disc, that is called DVD. So DVD also store the data in exactly in the similar way as that of your CD, but it has much more storage capacity, nearly 40 times that of your CD. And nowadays you have the Blu-rays and all other things, right? So the storage has increased, but the basic principle is that of your CD only as far as the recording of the data is concerned. So that was your one of your engineering applications, that how we can store the data inside the CD and DVD, and how we can retrieve the data. Let's see the other one. Other one is your laser range finder. Now in this case, what is the laser range finder? You have to find out or you can even scan the image of a distant object. How it works? What we are going to do now, as you can see from here we have taken a laser source, and from the laser source we are going to send the light on the distant object. So on the distant object we are sending. So here let us suppose this is your distant object. Here you have got the distant object. On this the light is coming from your laser. So this is how the light is coming. Naturally, to make the light parallels, right, or to focus on the target, we can use the lenses, right? So this is what we have done. Okay. So now from here, the moment it is going to focus on the target, from the target the laser light will be getting scattered. So and then from there it is getting reflected, and the reflected light is coming back to your sensors or recorder. So this is how the light is getting reflected. So this is your light which is going, and of course it is going with the velocity of the light, and that velocity of the light is c. And then again from the target it is coming back with the velocity of the light, right? And then here we can find out what will be the total distance. So what will be the total distance that we can calculate? How we can calculate? We know velocity is equal to, or distance is equal to, velocity into time, right? So velocity is known to you. Velocity is your velocity of the light, and time we can measure that how much time it has taken in going and coming back. So if we are going to multiply these two, then we can find out what is the total distance it has traveled, right? And in this way we can locate the distance of the object, right, from the laser source, and that is called range finder, right? If you are going to, that is, you are remotely, you are sitting at one place, you have just focused the laser, it has gone to the target, and from the scattering it has come back, and again you have catch up that light, and from that you can find out the how much time it has taken going and coming back, and from that you can find out that is how much, at what distance that object is lying, and that is called your range finder. All right, so let us see the detail of this. All laser range finder, that is called LRF, works using the same basic concept. And what is that basic concept? The range finder emits the laser beams at the push of a button. So just you have switch on your laser. These beams bounces off the distant object, and the range finder's high speed clock measures the total time it took from when the beams left the unit and they have returned back. So the total time taken in going and coming back is being recorded by your range finder. Since we know how fast the beam was traveling, and we know that is the beam was traveling with the speed of the light, the unit can simply use the time measure to calculate the distance it traveled, and then it displays the distance to the user. So in this way we can find out at what distance the target is situated. All right, so this can also be used to scan the object. So here I have tried to show you a simple scanner. So what we are going to do here, let us suppose at this point we have taken a laser source, and laser source is being sent through this, and the entire part of this is being scattered. So that is on the entire part the laser is falling from here. Here also laser is falling. Here also laser is falling. Here also the laser is falling. So at the entire part the laser is falling. Right? This is how the laser is falling on this. So laser is scanning this entire object, and from all part of this object, the light is getting scattered, and a scattered light is coming to the camera. So here you have got the camera, and the scattered part from all the part of this object, it is coming over here. So now what we can find out, of course we can find out how much time it has taken in traveling from the laser to the camera, and then what is the phase with which the beam is coming from the different part of your object, right? So if the moment you are able to detect the phase, record the phase also, you can record as a three-dimensional image of that object, right? So this is all, since here you are able to detect the intensity also. So intensity is being scattered from all the part, and you are able to detect the phase also from all the part. So both the intensity, reflected intensity, and the phase is being recorded, and the moment both of the parameters you are able to record, you can record the 3D image. So scanning of the 3D image, this is what I have taken here. So what I say, a scan laser diode is one technology for collecting 3D images. All right, a laser generates an optical pulse that is shaped and expanded to reduce its divergence. So what we are going to do, the laser should not diverge much. It should exactly go to the surface wherever we have targeted, right? So the appropriate lens arrangement we are putting there, so that its divergence can be controlled, even though we know it don't have very large divergence. It is then directed toward the scene to be integrated by the scanners. So whatever the object is to be recorded, right, on that object we are focusing this. The backscatter light is directed into the collectors. So here we have taken the collectors. It's a nothing. So it will coming to your telescope, right? And telescope in the turns will be sending it to the photosensitive object, which is nothing. That is your camera, and camera is going to record that. So backscatter light is directed to the collectors, that is a telescope, where it focus onto the photosensitive elements, right? All right, and then the resulting electronic signal is filtered to remove noise and analyzed to determine the time of travel of the reflected optical signal, right? So exactly like your previous case. So it is again recording the time, the distance to the scene at the point where the transmitted light was reflected is determined by the round trip of the radiations. So the same way the scanner reposition the integration point, and the process is repeated, and in this way we are going to record the three-dimensional image. And that was your two applications that you had in your syllabus, right? And we have finished both the applications. Thank you very much.